long shot lists, travel, presents, war presents, God invites us into something different. And all He invites us into stillness. Be still and know that I am God.
Here you go, Ed.
That's what God wants for you. So join in finding that stillness. Join in finding that peace for every day this happens on Helen. My word is today. Tide lifts all boats. As it recognizes the value of life. So that helping people acquire precious metals. Lady with gold and silver coins can preserve your wealth.
Thank you. Thank you, Aunt Ann. Thanks for the box today. And I got some more stuff I got from Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen gave me this. More popcorn. Yep. And this is Karen that sent Chico a toy. Yep. Yeah, it's pants. Yep. So thanks again, Lucy, with the donation, and Aunt Lucy, Ann, and Aunt Karen. Of all. So we are going to have a big lineup tonight. She heard oh boy. Uh-oh. She'll be going bananas. So I'm going to play 3 hours of Intel and stay up as long as I can with the speech tonight. Everything. So thanks, Terry, for reminding us that last night. I had no idea. I didn't know he was coming on tonight. So we'll go to Intel, and then I'll stay up as long as I can. Carol. Who else? We're missing all the lurkers coming in to listen to Trump tonight. Dave, Greg, Kobe. Will be a big night of Intel with the speech. Okay, I just saw the 5-minute clip on your old lady there. She was talking about Kansas Owens. Oh, it was 5 minutes. Little rat. Oh. Hold on. I don't know what Carol just sent me some. Kim. Come on, Greg. Dave. And our people from far, far away. Oh, want you to, can you send us a regular photo on the phone, Carol? Send a regular photo picture on the phone and I'll share it. I just got 2 boxes of goodies today from Aunt Ann and Aunt Karen. Okay. I'm ready for a long night. We're gonna do 3 hours of Intel till the speech, and then I gotta drink a lot of caffeine to stay awake for the speech. But a lot of people are getting really upset what's going on now. It's Margie Taylor Greene. Now it's Dan Bon Jovi. Who do you think will be next? Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi might be next. Oh, I just saw a clip on Telegram. Did you guys see the clip on Telegram on Donald Jr.'s girlfriend or new fiance? I think they're getting married. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, this is Carol's cookies. So those were Carol's cookies. That's all you made? Make more? I'll read you guys see that?
Not often that I'm at a loss for words because we usually do the ranting and raving really well, but this is a little different. But I just want to wish all of you guys an incredible.
Hold on, I'll share a screen, you guys. Hold on. So we'll go ahead and get started. Chico, you can jump. I got 2 death blocks we're playing tonight.
is a little different, but I just want to wish all of you guys an incredible holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and to thank Bettina for that one word, yes. It's almost, when you go down there and it's like you're going to go and you're trying to ask, you're not sure what the answer is going to be. It's always a little bit rough, but she said yes. So
Hey, Chris.
that's a big win for the end of the year.
Long night tonight, Chris. Oh.
Wow, what a privilege it is to be here in the White House as your president. Thank you so much for hosting this incredible party. And to our First Lady, these decorations, am I right? Are they unbelievable? This has really been the most unforgettable weekend of my life, and I get to marry the love of my life, and I feel just like the luckiest girl in the world. So thank you, and thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, thank you.
So that was that. So the first step clock.
It's interesting they posted today because it's Tuesday. Usually they post on Wednesdays and sometimes Fridays. But I'm thinking they did this for a reason because we have December 18th coming up and December 19th. I'm going to get into that. But this message today says the Great Jubilee. We have America with the New Jerusalem and the wings of an eagle going up into the clouds. And it says wealth transfer in the wheat area.
Paul's
And we have
not
all
it
of the
yet, is he?
commodities, and I want to touch up on robotics and AI because that is part of the new world, okay, or the golden age. Now, down here we have a scripture, Revelation 21, verse 2, which states, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." So the Bible specifically talks about the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, which is interesting because we have 3i Atlas making its closest point to Earth on December 19th, which is just a few days. And 3i Atlas has been described as the size of Manhattan or New York City. And the US dead clock has shown us 3i Atlas or Atlas in the sky, along with all of the biblical signs. Okay. Now, the Great Jubilee is the restoration to original ownership in Leviticus 25. The Jubilee resets everything. Not only is it biblical, you guys, there is a whole book called the Book of Jubilees that was left out of the Bible. I find it interesting that the books that are left out of the Bible don't have an AC. Most of these books, like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, prophesy of the righteous being elevated and lifted up out of slavery and are given the inheritance into God's kingdom. Now, Revelation 21:2 shows the ultimate restoration, humanity and creation return to God's original design, not temporarily like the Israel's Jubilees, but eternally. And we've heard Trump talk about his peace plan being an eternal plan, not a 7-year covenant. He talks about it being an eternal peace plan. Okay. Now, going back to the New Jerusalem in America, in Jubilee law, land never truly belonged to people, it belonged to God. And this aligns with the inheritance being returned to the righteous, to God's people. And God reclaims his dwelling with humanity. The city coming down shows heaven and earth reunited. The inheritance is no longer disputed, leased, or lost. Now, biblical jubilees happen every 50 years. However, Revelation 21 is the great jubilee without an end. So that means no more debt, no more bondage, no more exile, where God's servants shall reign and God will dwell with them. Not only do we have the biblical prophecy, we have the prophecy of the Book of Jubilees. The Book of Mormon also prophesies of the New Jerusalem being built on this land, which is in America, a covenant city prepared for the righteous in the last days. Everything that we're seeing Trump doing right now is building up to the property, the assets, the riches of the wicked being blocked and apprehended, okay? And their riches is being transferred to the righteous, to the people.
Dig out.
Executive order that Trump signed December 21st of 2017, which will be 8 years ago on December 21st this year, 2025, where he signed the order to block the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. And that wealth that was taken from the wicked is being held in the sovereign wealth reserve, where that wealth is owned by the people, by the righteous. That's what this whole debt clock message here, total repo, is where the U.S. Treasury, the repo squad, is confiscating all of this wealth. We see yachts, we see silver, we see jewels and gold. That wealth is being confiscated from the wicked, put in the sovereign wealth reserve through this executive order that Trump signed in 2017. The Treasury, State, and Justice Departments identify and designate individuals or entities involved in these abuses, confiscates them through sanctions, and are prohibited from transactions with them, okay? These executive orders serve as critical tools for U.S. foreign policy, holding perpetrators of grave crimes accountable by cutting them off from the U.S. financial system and travel. We know the financial system is changing. The wealth is being taken from the wicked and given to the people. This was all prophesied, you guys. I want to talk a little bit about timing, because Trump just announced his gold card and platinum card for immigrants, okay? Now, this is crazy, okay? So the Trump gold card gives a $1 million contribution so long as they pay a $15,000 fee and pass the background approval. They'll get $1 million. That's a lot of money. Like, I would pay $15,000 if I could get $1 million, okay? Trump Platinum card will give a $5 million contribution after a $15,000 processing fee. And they will have the ability to spend up to 270 days in the United States without being subject to U.S. taxes on non-U.S. income. Now, of course, they would have to be vetted and approved for this. And after looking into it, this program was mandated to be implemented by December 18th, 2025, under the executive order that created it. So that's just in a few days, okay? Now, I want to go over this video that I posted. I actually posted this October 3rd, 2025. I got the date mixed up on there. On this video, I was talking about how this year is a sabbatical Jubilee year. The great trumpet blast was blown announcing Jubilee to the land at the Rams game, okay?
Yesterday was Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. If this is a sabbatical year, then Jubilee is announced on the Day of Atonement. We have seen so many politicians and government agencies acknowledging Yom Kippur yesterday. I've never seen before. I've never seen so many politicians and government agencies acknowledging Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It was everywhere, all over social media, you guys. And I referenced in my last video that this is a sabbatical year, Jubilee would be announced with a long trumpet blast or a long blowing of a shofar, which is a ram's horn, at the end of Yom Kippur. And what did we have yesterday? We had a shofar blown at the Rams game, you guys, last night in front of the entire nation.
All this was back in October, right after we had the Feast of Trumpets. Everybody was expecting the rapture or harpazo. We know everything that's going on is biblical. When you take into perspective Jesus's teachings of how it would look, there was a delay when he comes and his second coming. Now 2025 is coming to an end, and now we are in Hanukkah, okay? And you guys remember when I was talking to you about the Mayan calendar ending on December 21st of 2012, and 13 years later would be December 21st of 2025. We also have Atlas making its close approach to the Earth on December 19th, right? And the winter solstice begins on December 21st. This year, 2025, Israel became a nation 77 years ago. But December 21st, 2025 would mark 77 years, 7 months, and 7 days when Israel was reborn as a nation. But it doesn't stop there, because December 21st, 2025 is the 7th day of Hanukkah. December 21st also represents dark to light. This is an important day because December 21st was also the day that Trump signed this executive order into law 8 years ago. 8 means completion. Remember when we talked about Michael Dell and his wife, Susan, donating $6.25 billion into Trump accounts for children? It's also interesting. I wanted to bring up that December 19th is also the day that the e-files are going to be released. December 19th, the same day that Atlas makes its closest approach to the Earth. Now we have all of these wealthy people either donating a lot of money to all of these causes, okay? And very oddly, we have a lot of famous celebrities being unalived just within the past 7 days. So now we are starting to see the wheat and the tare starting to be separated. Now Christians are getting the memo that this is wealth transfer time.
Have you heard about the transference of wealth from the wicked to the righteous? The prophets are talking all about it. In fact, on November the 28th, 2025, Carolyn Dennis said, "The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And now it is wealth transfer time."
You guys, this is happening, and I want to remind you, there are Christians warning people not to be deceived. But the delusion, the strong delusion happens after the rapture, not before the rapture. So believe it when I tell you the Great Jubilee is happening and the wealth transfer is close. Hey guys, we got a new US Dead Clock message. Today is Tuesday, December 16th.
Okay, that's one. There's Chico, everybody. Want to say hi? Huh? Say hi. There's another one. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not. Shoot. Yeah, this is a different one. I'm pretty sure this is a different one, you guys. Thanks, you guys. Oh, I didn't see that, Chris. So let me know on this one.
Wednesdays and sometimes Fridays. I'm thinking they did this for a reason because we have December 18th coming up and December
One was on
19th. I'm going to get into
Telegram,
that. But this message
and one
today
was
says
on
the Great
TikTok.
Jubilee. We have America with the New Jerusalem and the wings of an eagle going up into the clouds. And it says wealth transfer in the wheat area. And we have all of the commodities. And I want to touch up on robotics and AI because that is part of
Does it sound like
the
it's a
new
different one, you
world,
guys?
okay, or the golden age. Now, down here we have a scripture, Revelation
Thanks,
21, verse 2,
everybody.
which states, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." So the Bible specifically talks about the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, which is interesting because we have 3i Atlas making its closest point to Earth on December 19th, which is just a few days. And 3i Atlas has been described
Hey, is this a new
as
one?
the size of Manhattan or New York City. And the US Dead Clock has shown us 3i Atlas or Atlas in the sky, along with all of the biblical signs. Okay. Now, the Great Jubilee is the restoration to original ownership in Leviticus 25. The Jubilee resets everything. Not only is it biblical, you guys, there is a whole book called the Book of Jubilees that was left out of the Bible.
I find
it interesting that the books that are left out of the Bible don't have an
Telegram
AC. Most of these books, like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, prophesy of the righteous being elevated and lifted up out of slavery and are given the inheritance into God's kingdom. Now, Revelation 21:2 shows the ultimate restoration, humanity and creation return to God's original design, not temporarily like the Israel's Jubilees, but eternally. And we've heard Trump talk about his peace plan being an eternal plan, not a...
Yeah, but didn't she have the one with that guy blowing that horn there? this one's not blowing the horn.
7-year covenant. He talks about it being an eternal peace plan. Okay. Now, going back to the New Jerusalem in America, in Jubilee law, land never truly belonged to people, it belonged to God. And it's allowed to spend up to 270 days.
Blowing of a shofar, which is a ram's horn, at the end of Yom Kippur.
Okay, I think that was the same. It looked like there was different ones. Okay, and not one lady's back today. This one's 14 minutes. Oh, stop.
Banking systems that are being sorted out. They will ultimately allow people to trade everything that they might need or want to trade. We are reconstituting the Federal Reserve note, and we are doing away with the national debt. The national debt will be paid off by prepaid credit. It should have been paid off years and years ago, but wasn't. And so that's finally getting done. The immediate effect, of course, will be a boom in the economy. And so that is all happening. The cost of all of this is already established and paid for. It's prepaid, right? So we don't have to worry about any of that. We have humongous amounts of prepaid credit. We have humongous amounts of gold and silver. And so no living man or woman needs to worry about anything like that again. We are looking at a complete 100% across the board ending of all forms of taxation, all forms of entitlement, as in titles, like land titles and all that, an end to all these things that have been used as a means to coerce and to defraud and to upon private property. Everything that has been used in some form of coercion, everything like taxation, having to keep all of these records, having to meet all of these statutory requirements, all these federal code items that should never have applied to average living people. All of that is getting gutted and out the door. You'll no longer have to dread April 15th every year. You'll no longer have to keep records of every little expense to turn into the IRS. The IRS and the DOJ and all their running dogs are being gutted as we speak. They should never have been employed by our helpers, our subcontractors, as their very own flak jacket at public expense. It should have been out of their pockets, not ours. There's so much like that that is just missing.
Oh, what happened?
The workers took things in their control and did not act honorably or reasonably with respect to their employers because they never expected us to show up again. I mean, let's face it, they thought we were down and out and we're never going to come back. So they just pretty much ran things to ruin and took as much, embezzled as much as they could, and generally didn't do the right thing 90% of the time, just like the all that foreign aid that never made it to the foreign destinations, leaving us scratching our heads about the entire thing. Well, now thanks to Doge, we have the confirmation of what we knew was true, that 98% of all federal aid to foreign destinations never made it there. Only about 2% of all that was appropriated as foreign aid ever got out of the hands of the crooks that were manipulating the systems. Quite a few people have already heard, so I might as well comment on it briefly, that there won't be a reset per se. There's no reason for a reset once the Federal Reserve note is, as we say, redeemed and the national debts are cleared away. So there won't be this kind of cataclysmic crash into the mountainside and burn sort of scenario that has been such a cause for fear mongering and worry for so long. It's not that we like the Federal Reserve. It's not that we're going to preserve the Federal Reserve per se. It's that we are wiping out the national debt, and that should have happened a long time ago. And once that is done, then we will regroup and recoup and look at how we're going to manage things going forward. Let me suggest to you that using debt as a form of currency is crazy. It's tacitly insane and illegal. And so that form of money is eventually just going to be absorbed in a new form of positive money will be established, not only in the gold and silver arena, but in terms of credit markets and credit being exchanged. Those of you who are part of the global family banks vendor system, you will have access to funds to build your businesses, interest-free. I think that's a very exciting opportunity, very good news for small businesses. You will be unburdened from having to carry the cost of employer insurances. You'll be set free of the cost of unemployment insurance for your employees. You won't have to keep all these records and have all these worries on your weary heads. And so that will be a great freedom. It will be a wondrous thing that you can just live your lives and do your business and not have to go through all of this extra record keeping and fear of being hauled into court and all that stuff. It is not going to be that way going forward. The other good news I can think of off the top of my head is that we'll be having basically a jubilee where people that have been unfairly and unjustly railroaded out of their homes and property will be able to get everything back. Now that's going to cause some disruption because in many cases, other people have purchased homes in good faith, thinking that they were available for purchase when in fact they had been stolen. And so those people will have to be compensated and moved to other quarters. There was a lot of land grabbing. There was a lot of double dealing, a lot of tax fraud going on. We're going to have quite a cleanup operation, arresting the people that were responsible for that. We have been overall successful with our different negotiations and things that we've had to do diplomatically. The whole situation with the United Nations has been somewhat testy at times, and all of it's been confused. It's going to take probably 20 years to sort out all the details. But in the short term, what it means is that we're back in charge of our government. We're all going to have to work harder at participating in our government, making decisions at all levels of government, local, state, and national. And so it's going to be a whole new experience. A lot of people who are used to the nanny state will have to wake up and realize that no, there's no nanny state there anymore. This is the American government. This is our government, and we have to participate in it, and we have to make decisions, and we have to establish safeguards for our own sakes and our own local government, our own state government, and actually participate. So that will be new. I tried to lay it out in an article this morning. I was already being besieged with all these special interest groups. So, save the baby gay whales type things. And no, that's not part of this anymore. That whole scenario, the political parties, all of that is part of a foreign government and always has been. And so now you're going to see that we have a very stripped down plain Jane kind of government, which was always what was intended, and it stays pretty much out of your business. The only time that you have to worry is, number one, if you are doing something to harm or endanger other people or stealing their stuff. I mean, otherwise the government's going to leave you alone. You're going to have your privacy. You're not going to be surveilled. There are a lot of basic things about human, or I should say mankind's rights that will be honored. I don't know if this is making sense to everybody or not, but the American government is radically different than the United States government, just as the government of this country was and always was supposed to be radically different from any of the Commonwealth countries and from the European countries in general. We're supposed to have our own government. And so, as I put it in the article, we're back in Kansas. And things are going to be very much different. They'll be better in a lot of ways. And you will certainly have more say in your own lives and in your government without a lot of foo-foo-rah and nonsense. But at the same time, you'll be expected to take care of yourselves, to use your own money effectively and well to take care of yourselves, because, you know, bear in mind, you're getting back a bunch of money that you will now be able to take care of your own needs. You won't need Medicare to take care of your needs. You won't need to argue over whether something's covered or not. You'll have more than enough to pay for your own bills. You'll have more than enough to take care of everything that you need to take care of. And there will be some restructurings of the various economic sectors to refocus the attention on things, well, like the health services economic sector that has been operating as a for-profit sector since the 1970s. That will get changed so that we actually are concentrating on health instead of concentrating on making a buck off of disease. So there are a lot of things like that that will get reformed. There are many things about law that will get drastically reformed. So it'll be quite a shock, but it'll be good overall. Everybody is called upon to have a greater degree of self-discipline and self-knowledge. Everybody's called upon to extend goodwill to your neighbors and people in your communities. We are functioning basically with the old dictum of mankind, which is simply do no harm. If you think about it, there really are only two laws, and those two laws condense even more to be simply do no harm. If you don't harm other people and don't harm the environment and don't lie, cheat, steal, murder, and et cetera, which causes harm, then you have nothing to worry about and are free to live your life. And I think that's a wonderful thing, because as many of us have experienced, when a government turns predatory, there is no safety. They preach to you about security and safety and things like the surveillance state, and they try to sell you on it because it's going to be so safe and secure. Wow. But in reality, if you don't have your own freedom and you don't have your own privacy, you've already lost your security, because that's the ground zero basis of security. Okay? You may have seen this past week that they passed yet another law that would allow them to come around and actually confiscate silver. And it was actually posted in the Federal Register day before yesterday, so that they're intending to collect silver the way they came around and collected gold in the 1930s. We are exempt from that, and we will enforce that exemption. We will make it very, very clear to Mr. Trump that that particular rule and law pertains only to federal employees, not to Americans in general. And so don't be immediately scared and think that you have to do something extreme to save your silver. Believe me, if there's any attempt by the British territorial government to come around door to door and pull off an FDR on us, they will be arrested as criminals and they will be put behind bars. This is not going to happen. Not putting up with it again. We now know the basis of all their actions. We now know what the limitations are of their contracts and the treaties, and we're holding them to it. So there's that. Otherwise, let's see. Everything is about as full speed ahead as it can get.
So what do you guys
Everything
think of
takes,
her?
I don't know,
Yeah,
everything seems
okay.
to take longer and cost more than you ever dreamed possible.
Was that one okay? There's some people like her, but I don't know if that was good or not. Three minutes.
A post last night about the address for tonight at 9 Eastern Standard Time that President Trump's
Okay.
going to do. And some of y'all came on and were Mr. Negative and Miss Negative about nothing happens. It's going to be the usual. That reminded me how much of a skimmer you might be. And what I mean by that is if you're like reading a book and you just skim parts, you don't realize just how many gems you miss in that book. Or you miss in a speech. Because you're just like racing that nothing's going to happen and you're not really tuning in with your ears and your eyes. When you have been in this awakening long enough and your ears and your eyes become very receptive, and everybody's on a different level of that. Doesn't mean that somebody that doesn't see it is worse. But I want you to really pay attention with your eyes and ears tonight, because there will be a lot of gems. And he'll say it right out. And it's a matter if you really want to hear it and
Yep.
see it.
Wait and see what happens. This lady's pretty
So-
good.
Today's advice is pray about it tonight. Pray for him. Pray for you being able to see and hear. Because we don't want skimmers anymore in ours. We want people that truly care to see and listen, because you have to show the people to believe it. Guys, I encourage you to hang in. And I've said this before. I've done this awakening, taken many rests, but I'm not going anywhere. And except my son comes in 2 days. And I am excited. Almost 14 years of not seeing him. I'm going to treasure every moment for a week. And I may pop in and out. But I want you to really pay attention tonight. Because being in that moment and seeing and hearing is very important. Stop being a skimmer. Be a proud person who says they love their country and cares about what is going on. Because in the end, you won't just miss all the little gems then. Have a great day.
Amen to that. That was good, I thought.
You can come in. Come on in. My proudest legacy will be that of
A minute and a
peacemaker.
half.
Peacemaker and the fire. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice. Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
Wow, that was pretty good, huh, you guys?
Saying that he is going to make his decision in 2 weeks. It looks like his decision may have been made already. So he was approached by MS Now, formerly MSNBC, which take it with a grain of salt, asking if he was truly considering leaving. He answered the question with a bit of ambiguity. He said, print what you want. No one believes or listens to you anyway. But now we're getting reports from the Sun, which is more right-leaning, and I would find them to be more credible than MSNBC or MS Now. They're now saying that Dan Bongino's office is indeed empty and that his chief of staff is gone. Now, take that with what you will, but it definitely makes it look as though Dan Bongino is on his way out. Now, there's been a lot of reports about Kash Patel and whether Kash Patel might continue to stay. But from the reports of both The Sun and Fox News and MS Now, he's made it clear to his staff that he intends to return to the private sector as of the start of 2026. Now, again, I'm simply reporting as I'm supposed to. I told you guys, if you guys are curious as to what brought this about, according to those around him, I reported on that on Monday. You guys can look at that. But of course, he made, there's been a lot of discussions. According to reports from Dan Bongino, he has not been happy with the way things have been handled by the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. He has not been happy with some of the way that things have been handled at the FBI, and has been very frustrated with the bureaucracies. So I'm curious to see. Now, there have been reports that suggest that by sometime by the 19th, that he intends to make a full statement and address his decision on the 19th. I cannot confirm that. I'm just simply saying, I'm simply reporting what has been reported. But it looks to me like Dan Bongino might be making his exit. I hate to see it. I would love to see Bongino take over the FBI altogether. I've been frustrated with Dan Bongino. I've been really, really clear with that. But in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that Dan Bongino is an honorable man. I believe that Dan Bongino is someone who truly loves this country. And I feel like he was a pivotal part in getting the information out about the Russia hoax. I feel like he was a fantastic voice in getting Trump reelected. And so we're seeing these parts play out. I can't lie. I am kind of excited about the possibility of being able to hear Dan Bongino back on the radio and to hear what he has to say about this whole experience. But I do prefer him to be in the FBI. I feel like it's a better place with him than without him, which is not saying too terribly much because I don't trust that institution. But I pray that somehow that he would be able to stay in a larger role, but we shall see. I'm really curious to see, even though the White House has said that they intend to keep Kash Patel around, and that Trump has not lost his faith in Kash Patel. A lot of times, guys, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this story continues to rear its ugly head. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Dan Bongino is gone, he had the opportunity to completely refute it and call it crap. And we know Dan Bongino is not above that. And he refused to deny the story. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about it.
Okay, that's the first one.
Contractor, or simply take pride in handling your own home repairs and
What's up, family? Welcome to Out of the Darkness. I am Hugh. So it looks like it's happening. It's happening. Now, the bill that I spoke to you guys about earlier this week, the $900 billion bill, and now it's up to $901 billion in the defense spending bill. Some of the things were taken out of it, but it's still it went up instead of going down, which I don't get. I mentioned I did not in any way vote for this when I voted for Donald Trump. I'm not lamenting voting for Donald Trump. I'm simply saying that this large amount of spending is not something that I necessarily agreed to, but I don't know that this bill as it stands is going to pass. It was taken back to the House and for revisions, and now it passed the Senate today. We have not removed the spending clause or the money appropriated to go over to the Ukraine. But in addition to that, they did give certain appropriations for putting troops on the border. So that's a win. But they also tied a large portion of the funding of this bill to Pete Hegseth turning over video of the boat strikes, in the drug boat strikes in the Caribbean. So they're essentially holding our money hostage in order to get these videos. The problem is we understand exactly what the left and the right are trying to do. They want to get rid of Pete Hegseth, but they are threatening to get rid of, possibly prosecute Pete Hegseth, and looking to possibly even to punish the soldiers that carried out the strike. It looks like this is the route that they want to take. It looks like the rhinos and the Democrats are both on board with this, saying, hey, if you want this money, you've got to turn over these videos. And they intend to use the video to try to prove that Pete Hegseth committed war crimes. It's not going to stop there, guys. We already know that they are going to attempt to use this to go after Donald Trump. There's no question about it. If we lose the midterm election, we already know because we've seen it happen that the impeachment hearings are going to begin next January. Well, not this January, January 2027. We've seen the playbook. We've seen this movie. We know how it ends. But I am totally against $901 billion being spent. I just don't like it. I understand that we have to support our military. Have no issues with that. That's constitutional. We are supposed to have a military. We're supposed to support that military. But I don't remember anything in the Constitution. If you know of something in the Constitution, please let me know. But sending $1 billion to a foreign country to fund a foreign war, I can't seem to find that in my little trusty, rusty pocket Constitution. But I know many of you guys know more than I do. So let me know. Let me know where this is in the Constitution. But I think this is a poison pill. I hope that Donald Trump kills this bill. But many of the things that Donald Trump asked for have been answered in this bill. They are confident that Donald Trump will sign it. I hope he does not. I pray that he does not. I do not think that this is a win for the United States, but let me know what you guys think.
Okay, that's the second one. I got the first Doug video, then I'm going to do Nick, then go back to do the second Doug video.
bearskin hoodie.
Joe Biden claims executive privilege problem. He forgot. He's no longer the executive. No longer has executive privilege. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the Happy Patriots are. I hope you've already subscribed if you want more of this kind of content. If not, just watch for free. Fine, don't contribute anything. Don't like this show. Don't leave a comment. Just watch. Keep moving on. Keep milking that cow. Get those golden eggs from the goose. Here's Joe Biden.
Rejecting former President Joe Biden's request for executive privilege as Congress investigates Biden's use of the auto pen. Fox News Digital obtaining the October letter from Biden, which says, I am concerned that disclosure of these materials would damage important institutional interests of the presidency.
Who believes that the Democrats care about the important institutional interests of the presidency? Democrats don't care about anything but winning.
The White House counsel under Trump saying Congress has a compelling need in service of its legislative functions to understand the circumstances that led to all of these horrific events.
Yeah, we just want to know the circumstances. The auto pen, people have said before, where's the arrests? I'm just going, guys, it takes a long time to build that case. Just like how it takes a long time to build a Rosie O'Donnell. But you didn't see that coming. We're going to talk about the coming war, too, against Venezuela. Do you smell it in the air? Do you smell it? Here's Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, honey. You know, I saw your thing, and I had just come from therapy, and my therapist was saying the same.
That's a shock. Anyone here? Anyone down in the chat below? Are you surprised that at any given time, Rosie O'Donnell just happens to be coming back from therapy?
That thing that, you know, grief is a positive thing to go through with all that's happening now in our country, and rage is not. So to give this narcissist no power is the only thing that's going to affect him. None. Do not say his name. Do not
Don't say his name.
And I heard what you said
Trump,
loud and
Trump,
clear, and
Trump,
I'm like, good for you.
Trump.
And I love your posts. I think you're very poignant and very inspiring. And thank you for doing them. Thank you.
Good girl. I'm glad you're not. I don't want you to have rage, Rosie O'Donnell. I want to be able to say Trump and have you just nothing. By the way, if Kamala Harris won, I would not be in the corner right now slobbering. I would be fighting for America. And I'd be saying her name plenty. I'd be saying Kamala Harris is a fraud. Kamala Harris needs to be impeached. Kamala Harris needs to be voted out of office as soon as possible. Everyone needs to unite against Kamala Harris. That's what I'd be saying her name every day. We're going to get into more of that. First, here's Julie Kelly. You know, Jack Smith is testifying before Congress. And according to Julie Kelly, looks like Jack Smith is lying to Congress. You can send someone to prison for that. There's no evidence of all the alleged classified documents there in the areas that he just described. His prosecutors admitted last year they did not know whether any of the moved boxes contained the documents claimed were classified. So this is someone on the inside heard the testimony of Jack Smith. And this is what they said. More from Jack Smith. Our investigation also developed powerful evidence that showed President Trump willfully retained highly classified documents after he left office in January 2021. That's Jack Smith under oath to Congress, storing them at his social club, including in a bathroom and a ballroom where events and gatherings took place. He then repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents. Zero, all of it faked by Jack Smith. Not true. Now we're going to go to that war in Venezuela. So Trump is going to have a giant meeting tonight. I'm not going to be on the air, right? I'm going to post another video at 6. And by then, I'll be watching Survivor, the season finale of Survivor, which our family watches. And then Trump's going to interrupt it with his big national announcement. Some are speculating that Trump could be announcing that we're going to war with Venezuela. And then all the people are going to go, oh, Trump said no foreign entanglements, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Tucker Carlson on the Napolitano show, they're speculating, they're hearing it, could be war. I have more evidence that I believe that will be what is discussed tonight in the Trump announcement to America. But here's Tucker. And as you know, Tucker is very anti-war. I'm pretty neutral on it. I'm pretty neutral on it. Why? Because evil can come from war and good can come from war. For instance, you would not have this country without war. In fact, no country would have any country without war. Every country in the world has been taken by someone else. So you would not have this country if not for war. You would not have freed slaves. And even in America, that united all the states if you didn't have war. Hitler wouldn't be defeated without war, etc. Even the Gulf War, which, in hindsight, we find out was a mistake. I don't know what we gain from that. But there's good wars and bad wars. So just saying just saying you're anti-war. Yeah, I'm not anti-war.
Is Trump going to start a war in Venezuela?
I don't know. I don't know when.
Leads to a final grade of F.
Is that objective? Trump got an F on energy, housing, groceries, healthcare, tariffs. What did you guys get for the last 4 years? Okay. It's not politics, says Chuck. He says this is objectivity. One thing I know is that is a big fat lie straight from the pit of hell. Okay, now here's Senator Eric Schmidt. He went in on the skiff. That's a security soundproof room or whatever, where they get to actually see the video footage of the Venezuelan boats being bombed from September 2nd that Chuck Schumer wanted to be given to the public. And Fetterman gave some quotes on this too. They're all going like, look, it's normal. He blew up some druggies. The druggies were going to try and stay on their mission. So Pete Hegseth, the general, was following orders to kill them because they were continuing trying to bring their deadly drugs into America.
I just was in the skiff. I saw the video, and I think the Democrats ought to be ashamed of themselves.
There you go.
By trying to slander Admiral Bradley, who was executing a lawful order. The men on the boat were trying to continue their mission. That's the truth. And you got to remember where this started. The Democrats and the Washington Post falsely claiming that there was a kill everybody order. That's false. That's been debunked even by the New York Times. And so in an effort to protect American citizens from the poisoning that's happened, 100,000 people die every year. We have a vested interest in making sure these narco-terrorists don't kill Americans. And so in this instance, the people and the boat were sunk, and 100% legally justified. I also reviewed the 40-plus legal memorandum that lays out that justification. So if any Democrat comes out here and questions that, they're lying to you. They're lying to you because they don't like Pete Hegseth.
They're lying to you because they don't like Pete Hegseth. Remember that, guys. That's all. A lot of people are telling lies. Here's one. Now, I love Victor Davis Hanson. This was posted by someone straight up. I'll explain to you why this is a lie in a minute. I would never call Victor Davis Hanson a liar. No. I've never heard Victor Davis Hanson tell a lie. However, watch this video carefully and tell me if something smells fishy.
Have you ever watched a perfectly orchestrated plan unravel in real time? Because what happened to Mark Kelly this week wasn't just political.
This is AI, guys. Victor Davis Hanson didn't say any of these words. They took these words and they put it through AI and they made Victor Davis Hanson on video say it. So I'm trying to warn you guys, this is the kind of stuff that's coming in the future. We have to be very, very careful. It does not make AI evil. The people who use it and won't tell you that this is AI and not actual video of Victor Davis Hanson, they're evil. But I'm going to watch just for a few more seconds so you can see. This is not Victor Davis Hanson on video. This is AI.
Political embarrassment. It was systematic destruction. And I witnessed every moment of it from the inside. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday morning that nobody saw coming.
You can kind of tell because I've listened to Victor Davis Hanson for 25 years. That is not the cadence of his voice, but it sounds like his tone. So it was able to record his tone and not get his cadence. Now, one day there will be AI of me, people claiming it's me, and it's not me. And you guys will have watched me enough to know better, just like I've watched enough to look at this Victor Davis Hanson stuff. And no, that's not him. That is AI. I just wanted to give you guys a warning, and I thought it was kind of entertaining. Here's Jen Psaki. That announcement comes just a week after the Trump administration seized the oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. She's going to rip on Trump, claiming that he was illegal in seizing the oil tanker. Fact check, her former boss sanctioned that transfer. It was Joe Biden under Jen Psaki that sanctioned the oil tanker.
Tonight, President Trump announced on social media that Venezuela is completely surrounded by what he called the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. He said that armada was enforcing a, quote, total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. Now, that announcement comes just a week after the Trump administration seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, and all of that has been done without any congressional approval.
Congressional approval or not, it was your boss that sanctioned the tanker, Jen, and Trump's just doing something about what your boss ordered. Now, on that Venezuelan war, the reason why I think Napolitano and Tucker could be right that we're about to declare war on Venezuela is the anti-war libertarian tards, Thomas Massey, is coming out and saying previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, and that did not exist. So he's starting to warn now. Trump's telling you to go to war with Venezuela over drugs.
The framers understood a simple truth. To the extent that war-making power devolves to one person, liberty dissolves. If the president believes military action against Venezuela is justified and needed, he should make the case and Congress should vote before American lives and treasure are spent on regime change in South America. Let's be honest about likely outcomes. Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced by a modern-day George Washington? How did that work out in Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria?
By the way, failures in the past do not predict failures in the future. I have to say this. What he's saying, I mean, you may have a low probability that someone's going to replace Maduro who's better. Probably true.
Introducing a legendary cast iron skillet straight from Iwate Prefecture, Japan. 100% pure.
Probably true.
Previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook, except we're told that drugs are the WMDs. If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico.
Well, we probably should. By the way, this is also a pretty bad argument because the WMDs may not have existed, probably didn't exist in Iraq, but the drugs do exist in Venezuela. So you just lost the argument. The question is, are drugs a WMD? Weapon of mass destruction. How many people have died from nuclear bombs in American territories? 0. So we were trying to go to war with Iraq over yellow cake and nukes and da-da-da that didn't exist. But we know the drugs did exist. Not only that, but 150,000 Americans a year die from it. That's a weapon of mass destruction. You know, they exist. And he's going like, no, they don't exist. Oh, the drugs don't exist, Thomas Massey? I mean, he's not saying it, but that's essentially, that would be how his argument would have to hold up.
Or China, or Colombia. And the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. This is about oil and regime change.
Oh, here it goes again. No war for oil. This is about oil. He sounds like Cindy Sheehan. No war for oil. It's not about oil. Do not care anyways. I don't care. I'm not going to take either side on the war. Like I said, I'm neutral toward war. I do support Trump. By the way, Thomas Massey, I want people in our government warning against war. So I'm not here to call Massey. I do know that no matter what Trump does, Massey's against it. So he loses his credibility. The real question is how many of Trump's actual allies inside the circle? People like Hegseth, Susie Skiles or Sykes or whatever her name is, Tulsi Gabbard. What are the more libertarian-minded people in his administration? You want them questioning him. Even Congress. I mean, Massey's doing his job. To question the president, fine. And then Trump's going to do what he's doing. I support him. That's how I was with Bush, too, with the WMDs. No one had the facts. No one knew. Everyone in hindsight thinks they're a genius. I followed Victor Davis Hanson. Victor Davis Hanson was saying the war was justified. And then after we found out there's no WMDs over in Iraq, he goes, yeah, we were wrong. So yeah, we are wrong sometimes. Happens. Here's Pete Hegseth. Says America will be reviving chaplains, our military chaplains in the Corps to be our spiritual guides. I have a friend who's a military chaplain. He was in the Air Force in Colorado Springs, a good Christian buddy of mine. And he was saying basically that the chaplains were all derided and discarded. And now Pete Hegseth wants to put them back in a place of prominence. This does affect people. Go like, Doug, why are you always talking about Jesus? Because Pete Hegseth's talking about Christianity.
I'm here to tell you about a real problem facing our nation's military. It's one you're probably not aware of, but it's a really important one. And it's been going on for far too long. The weakening of our chaplain corps. You see, chaplains are intended to be the spiritual and moral backbone of our nation's forces. George Washington established the chaplain corps in 1775, one of his first actions as general of the Continental Army. Congress authorized chaplains for the Navy that very same year. In Washington's general orders, he explained their importance, quote, the blessing and protection of heaven are at all times necessary, but especially so in times of public distress and danger.
You want Christian pastor men going with your military. I support this 100%. Do you guys support it in the chat below? I have an incredible Christian audience. Probably even, I like hearing from non-Christians too. Do you not want a Christian chaplain to go with the soldiers? They get their leg blown off. They're going, mama, mama. And the chaplain comes over, prays with them, the sinner's prayer right before he dies, reads Bible verses to him. They're there to pray with him if they have spiritual problems, porn addiction, fear, their family's falling apart. You want a chaplain there with the court's part of just doing basic care of human beings. This shouldn't even be controversial. I don't believe in putting Muslims in there, I guess, but Muslim chaplains are in there, atheist chaplains.
So that's the first. That was the first one. I got George coming up. 9 minutes.
And it made sense to me that you'd come to the best prosecutor in the state to ask for some advice. But I'm confused as to how this assists you in what the purpose of me being here is.
As it relates,
I don't think it's relevant, so I'm objecting on relevance.
Ladies and gentlemen, our friendly neighborhood ghetto district attorney in Fulton County, Fannie Willis, went before the Georgia Senate committee today. And I thought, okay, instead of me just recording the video by myself, let me bring an expert in Black people, in Black women, in Black ghetto women who call $1,000 a G. Andrew from Unwoke Dots, he and I used to do a lot of shows together on Fannie Willis. Andrew, what's going on with your favorite homegirl, man? What's going on with her?
Oh, man, it's absolutely amazing. Fannie Willis I've never seen her crash out so hard. And it's clear that she's being backed into the corner. I mean, I don't know what's going to come out of this, but she is very clearly nervous. And it's so cathartic to see. It's amazing. But you are right about one thing. I am an expert on Black women, and this Black woman is going down fast.
Don't misconstrue that sexually, everybody. Just
hey, you can construe it however you want.
Okay. Well, here's what Fannie thinks she is, because she thinks she's the best.
You run a tight ship over there. You're proud of your work. I would assume that you would have
I'm the best DA in the Southeast. Why wouldn't I be proud of my work?
Yeah, you heard that.
Is she under oath right there?
She's under oath. So
she's under oath. So by saying she's a best DA, isn't that lying? Can't she be thrown in jail for that?
Yeah, this was a moment that the internet went crazy over. Fannie pulled out the race card right in front of everybody, and you could just tell her legal counsel were looking at her like, really? Seriously, Fannie?
I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45.
Isn't that more of an indictment on how dumb her staff were? So she's saying that Nathan Wade was this great contributor to the team. He was teaching her staff what time actually meant, how to be there early, how to get up and get it. But it's like, that's more of an indication that you have a bunch of lazy people in your office.
He left after him. He taught them how to do this case. And he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fannie Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
Who does she think she is? Like, she's just speaking like she has cojones or something. Like she's
the
Michelle
whole
Obama.
office. The whole office is on Black person time. That's what I meant. Nathan Wade. He must have learned. And then she pulls out the N-word thing. Dude, I've never seen a crash out this big in my life. This is wild.
Well, Andrew, what do you think is standing right here? What bag she has right in front of her? What do you think she brought to the hearing?
That it's either Louis Vuitton or Michael Kors. Whatever it is, she bought it with cash that she kept under her mattress. I can almost guarantee you that. She's probably still got a good nest egg under that mattress, unless it's been incinerated just by her sitting on it, but we won't go there.
Well, you're right. It's actually Louis Vuitton. Guess the price. You probably already saw it there, but guess.
The price, I actually didn't see it. I'm gonna guess probably around 2,000.
It's 10 G's, 11
Holy
G's.
smokes, they go for that much?
Yeah, she has a $10,000 handbag that she brought to the hearing. I don't know who this woman thinks she is. Like, does she realize people see this and they go, okay, yeah, you definitely scammed the taxpayers? Because Fani Willis was never rich. She was never some high-power attorney making millions of dollars. She was always what she is, a grifter, a ghetto one at that, ratchet.
Almost as if, George, like some of these people, some of these ghetto people, they feel like this giant price tag gives them some sense of superiority, and other people are going to look at them like they have something to say, right? Like they are in a position of power, and it puts legitimacy on what they say. So I think in her mind, she's still got that ghetto kind of disposition. And you can tell just by the way she acts, and having that on the table, she thinks gives her some sort of credit.
Yeah, she's going to get street cred from that. And here's her, again, attacking a senator who is elected by the people of Georgia.
Date that I have is January 24th of 2022. Does that seem like it's within the range of being the correct thing?
So I already stated I don't trust you. I understand you're trying to run for lieutenant governor right now. Anything you want me to testify to, I'm going to need to see.
Okay. Were you aware that in between the time of the special grand jury being sworn in and receiving evidence, Mr. Wade traveled to Athens, Georgia to meet with officials from the White House counsel's office?
I don't recall.
On the right-hand side here is the meeting that I reference. A highlighted section reads, travel to Athens, conf with White House.
How does this
counsel.
assist you in developing laws for Georgia? Because I believe the purpose that I'm here for is because you all need assistance in doing your job, and you want assistance with rules and regulations around how people should be a prosecutor. And it made sense to me that you'd come to the best prosecutor in the state to ask for some advice. But I'm confused as to how this assists you in what the purpose of me being here is.
The committee has a broad purpose. I'd be happy to refer to counsel as to the overall purpose of the committee. But my question for you is, as it relates
I don't
to
think
this
it's
travel,
relevant, so I'm objecting on relevance.
She is so petty. You could see why she's popular with ghetto black women, why she's going to win the DA race in Fulton County. She has that sassy attitude about her that makes her captivating for ghetto people, for low IQ individuals. She's displaying it right now. Why they have her before the committee? Is that why she's confused?
Yeah, it reminds me of a low IQ Crockett. But, I love the contrast here, how the senator is so calm and she just comes and she lashes out. And I think this speaks to like the fact that she knows she's cornered. She knows she's backed up against the wall, but she's lashing out. She's almost like a badger, like a honey badger. And he's just so calm, just like asking these calm questions. And she comes out, let me tell you how to run this hearing. And dude, it's just so typical and it's such a bad look. But you're right. This is unfortunately what these low IQ people over there in Georgia, they love this. They think it's funny. They're just like watching this whole spectacle going, oh, she got him. When in reality, she looks like a fool.
Yeah, I have Fani fatigue, man. I'm so tired of her calling $1,000 a G. Like, lady, you're in a professional office. You're one of the most important district attorneys in the country. And she has fumbled every case she has touched. The Trump case has gotten completely dismissed. The YSL case she was prosecuting, she almost got kicked off the case because of collusion with the judges. She tried to get the judges to make certain rulings. So I don't know if people are recognizing what's happening, but her counsel literally had to step in. Her lawyer, who is Roy Barnes, the former governor of Georgia, but he was like there to defend her.
Hey,
And of course,
Paul,
she,
you're late.
can't help herself but be loud and obnoxious.
Conference with the White House counsel, as far as you were aware, was due to a part of this TUI process that the governor's referencing.
I've testified. I don't recall anything about this.
Okay.
And I don't see how it's relevant.
He's just sitting here like, damn, like, come on, just Make it easy on yourself, Fanny.
He had to step in multiple times. At one time, he was just like, go ahead and talk. I know I can't even hold you back. And she laughed like it was funny. It's just like, woman, do you have any respect for the justice system, for any sort of system that this country is founded on? And she really doesn't, you can tell. And dude, I 100% believe like these types of people should not be allowed to run for office. It's a bad look on everything.
So they literally showed her all the information, all the hours she was paying him, and she loses it, obviously.
What's up? Now that we got you covered up top, let's get some heat for your feet.
Life is beautiful and fragile. We fall. We fall hard. We get tired. And sometimes we get sick. But together, we are also strong. We come back. We push forward. We break through. We fight. We rise. We can. Corewell Health.
And
what I can tell you is that I
I'll give you time to
allowed
review
Mr.
the
Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior.
I'm tired of Fanny, man. Here's what Republicans in Georgia need to do. They need to find a mechanism where if there's obvious, what we saw with Fanny, obvious collusion between her and the Democrats in the federal government, and also her hiring her lover, an improper relationship, that DA not only needs to be automatically disqualified from the case, they need to reinforce that, but they really should just lose their jobs, because states aren't made up of cities. The state made the cities. It's the other way around. The state established the counties, the cities, the towns, the villages. It's the state that has the final say over what goes on in the counties, in the cities. They should regulate district attorneys to just easily kick them out, remove them from office when they clearly abuse the law and benefit for themselves. I mean, this lady is carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. Like, what are we doing here, Andrew? What are we doing?
I completely agree. I mean, someone like Fannie Willis, she makes people not just in the city lose faith in the justice system, but also the whole state and really the country, because they're seeing this spectacle and they're like, oh, so this is how things really go on behind the scenes. And even when they're caught, even when they're presented with the evidence, what happens? It's just kind of a thing. They make a little show of it, and then it just kind of gets buried after that. There's no repercussions on the DA, no repercussions on the individual actually committing the corruption. And so a lot of people, they're looking at this like, what is going on? And we see this happening in government all the time. So I think, someone like Fannie Willis, she should be made an example of by the Republicans to say, listen, we're not going to put up with this BS anymore. And you're the first one. You're the first domino to fall. But I guess we'll see if that actually happens.
And if she doesn't know what the purpose of a legislative hearing is, it serves two purposes. One, to guide future legislation. Two, to potentially refer her for prosecution to the Attorney General's office. So she thinks it's only that one purpose. And that's why she's saying, I don't know why this is relevant. It's relevant because you could get referred for perjury charges and for other crimes. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was your favorite Fannie Willis, a real idiot, a disgrace to the American judicial. Thank you all very much for watching. Go subscribe to Unwoke Dots. I'm going to leave his channel in the description. God bless and goodbye.
Okay. This is a 14-minute one, you guys. She's never gotten a 14-minute one before.
Battle to expose fake news. Plus, former special counsel Jack Smith, remember him? Well, he's headed to Capitol Hill tomorrow, just as shocking new emails surface showing the FBI told Biden's Justice Department they had no probable cause for the Mar-a-Lago raid. And yet, they went ahead and did it anyway. I'm guessing somebody's going to be playing the fifth tomorrow. We'll see. And that's not all. We've got the latest updates in the murder investigation of Rob and Michelle Reiner. Plus, the Democrats have managed to humiliate themselves again with their latest Epstein hoax. You'll want to see this one. Democrats, they try to play big grown-up games and end up tripping over their own shoelaces in the process. Before we jump in, a massive thank you to our members and everybody that have been dropping super thanks. You are not just viewers, you are the fuel that keeps this channel independent and lets me do this full time. Seriously, you are powering the mission to get the truth out, and I could not do it without you. I am beyond grateful for all of you, even those of you just liking, sharing, commenting, and even watching. That makes a bigger difference than you might realize. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And don't forget to like the video today, as always, so we can spread the facts, not the narrative. All right, so much doom and gloom in the headlines lately. I thought we'd start today with something a little more positive, a rare concept in the news business. First up, the president had the chance to introduce a newly engaged couple at the White House last night. Don Jr. and Bettina Anderson are officially tying the knot.
And to thank Bettina for that one word, yes. It's almost, when you go down there and it's like you're going to go and you're trying to ask and you're not sure what the answer is going to be. It's always a little bit rough, but she said yes. So that's a big win for the end of the year.
This has really been the most unforgettable weekend of my life, and I get to marry the love of my life, and I feel just like the luckiest girl in the world. So thank you, and thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
We wish the two nothing but the best. And speaking of memorable nights, someone else had a big one. Our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, the man Democrats have tried to smear nonstop. But guess what? The people who actually wear the uniform, yeah, they didn't get the memo. They love the guy. Watch what happens when Hegseth fires the cannon at the Army-Navy game.
Okay, I think this is your first 14-minute one. You never had a 14-minute one before.
That's a morale boost. The real kind, right? Loud, proud, and not forced. Compare that to the Biden years when enthusiasm was so low, they couldn't even hit recruitment goals. Fast forward to Trump, and recruitment numbers, they're skyrocketing. And while morale is up, so is something else. The president's bank account, which is fueled entirely by lawsuit wins against the fake news. Up next on the payout list, the BBC. President Trump just dropped a $10 billion lawsuit on the British news organization after they altered his words from the J6 speech to make it sound like he was inciting violence. Here's a reminder for those that need it of what the BBC aired versus what the president actually said.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Pretty clear, right? Walking, cheering, very dangerous stuff, I know. And that's exactly why the president's track record of suing news organizations for defamation should have the BBC sleeping with the lights on, because it certainly has CNN's Brian Stelter in full panic mode.
Number one, a year ago, it was unheard of for a sitting American president to file a lawsuit against a news outlet. This never happened before until President Trump returned to office for a second term. But now this year, he has sued the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and as of this morning, the BBC. So he is charting a new course, trying to take his war against the news media to court. And it's going to be very difficult for him to do so, but he's trying anyway. Even if these lawsuits are just PR stunts, he is getting the headlines he wants.
Sounds to me somebody's a little worried he might be next. I mean, what do these news organizations expect? They spent years waging open war on Donald Trump and assumed he'd just take it. And for Stelter to say this lawsuit will be very difficult is almost comical. I mean, considering the president has already racked up wins against 60 Minutes, George Stephanopoulos, Facebook, this platform, even X, all over censorship and false reporting. So what makes disgraced media commentator Brian Stelter think the president is suddenly in over his head? Simple. He hasn't been paying attention to actual news. And here's something else worth watching today. According to Just the News, the FBI is expected to turn over bombshell emails to Congress showing agents warned the Biden Justice Department that there was no probable cause to raid President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. But they went ahead and did it anyway. Remember this?
There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly.
Will that age beautifully? I'll take the under on that one, please. And while we're at it, it looks like Merrick Garland's name should be landing on that accountability bingo card, because those emails that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are turning over, they're expected to hit the House and Senate Judiciary Committee today, just one day before former Special Prosecutor Jack Smith sits down for a closed-door deposition on Capitol Hill. You remember Jack Smith, the guy who conveniently inherited the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case just months after the August 2022 raid on Trump's home? Convenient, right? We'll see how this goes tomorrow for Jack Smith and if he talks at all. And also breaking today, Nick Reiner, the son of Rob Reiner, will not be in court after being arrested in connection with the deaths of his parents. Reports indicate that he must first undergo a medical evaluation, which means his initial court appearance will now take place on Wednesday. We're also getting a look at the pictures of the moment when Nick Reiner was arrested. This happened near the campus of USC, which is about 15 miles from the Reiner home in Brentwood, where the bodies of Rob and Michelle Reiner were found on Sunday afternoon. Now, Rick Reiner, he was originally put on a $4 million bail that was then charged to no bail. According to legal experts, that is potentially significant. Listen to this.
The fact that it was set at $4 million usually indicates first-degree murder, and now that it's set at no bail might even indicate what we call a special circumstance murder, a murder that might make him eligible for the death penalty, though unlikely, but would make him eligible for life without parole.
Now, this was a picture taken of the Reiner family just a few months ago at the premiere of Rob Reiner's Spinal Tap 2 movie. Nick Reiner's in the middle there. He has had problems with drug addiction, homelessness, and mental health issues. As I'm sure you've heard by now, it's been wildly reported that he had a loud argument with his father during a holiday party at Conan O'Brien's house late Saturday night. Now, Rob and Michelle were found Sunday by their daughter, Romy, who stopped by after the family's masseuse couldn't reach them. Romy reportedly called close family friends Billy Crystal and his wife, who rushed over to the scene and arrived while first responders were there working on the bodies. Billy Crystal was visibly emotional, according to these reports, and wiping away tears. Now, the Daily Mail also reporting that Romy instructed police to look into her brother Nick, who she allegedly described as dangerous. We're also learning these details.
TMZ, which is another Fox News property, has some information that Nick had checked into the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel at 4 a.m. on Sunday. Apparently, he checked out early, which I guess would have been the next, later that morning. And when housekeeping went into the room, apparently they saw a house of horrors. The shower, according to TMZ, was filled with blood. There was blood on the sheets and other parts of the room, and sheets were hung up actually covering the windows. So that might put the time of the murder sometime between the argument and the time that he checked into the hotel, if he indeed is a killer.
A timeline sure makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? Hopefully we will get some of these details confirmed at the arraignment tomorrow. Nick is being represented by attorney Ellen Jackson. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he's known for previously representing Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. Now, another story that's been breaking the past few days is the devastating shooting at Brown University. The manhunt is still underway for the suspect who killed 2 students and injured several others. New photos of the suspect have been released today, more expected to be released later tonight. Here's the latest information we have on the story.
Moments ago, Providence police releasing a new image of this person of interest. Take a look. It's not very clear, but you get another view of the person's build and what looks like a crossbody bag that they're wearing. Investigators say they're releasing more images later today. Other visuals shared yesterday are some of the clearest views yet of this person, described as a man about 5 feet 8 inches with a stocky build, showing him wandering in this neighborhood called College Hill about 2 hours before the shooting. One of the videos shows him walking here in front of the Rhode Island Historical Society, and we believe we see the camera that captured him on surveillance. Here's the video. Take a look. It's the first of 3 clips that were shared yesterday. It shows the person in a dark 2-toned jacket and surgical face mask walking down the street in front of the building, looking backwards. He then stops and walks back to study the sign. The FBI has put up a $50,000 reward, hoping someone will recognize this person.
Let's hope authorities have this person in custody soon so this poor community can rest a little easier and start to heal. Meantime, there are growing calls for MSNBC anchor Ana Cabrera to be fired after doing what MSNBC does best, confidently lying live on air. Watch this piece of performance art. She claims an image released by Democrats shows President Trump partying with minors. only for it to later come out that the women were adult models promoting suntan lotion at Mar-a-Lago. But don't let the facts get in the way of a good MSNBC narrative. Take a look.
But Anna, one thing that stands out to me is the people whose faces are not redacted as compared with images where we can see that the women have faces that are redacted or blurred out. That suggests to me that either the estate and or the committee believe that some of these women are either minors and or survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
What a disgrace. No evidence, no
Time out.
verification, just vibes and a panic
minutes,
button over at
I think.
MSNBC.
It's almost
I mean, out
over.
of 95,000 photos, this is all they've got. Trump posing with adults. No rumors, no crimes, adults. So they edited the images to make it look like juveniles because apparently the truth just wasn't dramatic enough. And the best part, they rolled this out thinking no one will notice, as if the internet doesn't exist, as if people don't investigate for fun now. That's what I call desperation from a party that's officially out of ammo. And what's next? Tomorrow they drop this photo and tell us there's zero chance Trump recovers from the latest Jeffrey Epstein photo dump? I mean, really? Or maybe this one. Maybe this one will finally do him in. Yeah, this is the photo that takes down the president, surrounded by a group so golden, their idea of scandal is staying up past 9. Conservative commentator Scott Jennings, he laid into Democrats who claim they're focused on justice for Epstein victims, but seem far more interested in going after Trump. I mean, they say it's about helping victims, yet they're acting like people who show up to a charity event just to take a selfie.
Robert Garcia and the Democrats on oversight don't care about justice. They don't care about victims. They don't care about anything except one thing. They care about making the American public think that Donald Trump had something to do with this. What Van said is incredibly accurate. They should be patient. If they cared about victims and they cared about a narrative of justice and they cared about that part of it, they would be patient and they would be measured. But what
Scott's exactly right. Patience and restraint are not in the Democrats' playbook, which is why they cherry-picked these photos, took an already public image, and blurred the faces of adult women to make them look like underage trafficking victims. That's not advocacy. That's manipulation. And now we know the truth, right? One of the women in that photo, she's actually come forward saying the president was polite and completely gentlemanly during the encounter. Once again, the hoax backfires.
So what the Democrats are doing here is they're taking a very serious story in which real people got hurt by powerful people, all for the purpose of trying to smear Donald Trump. That's what this has always been about. They didn't care about it until now. And what they're doing with these photos is nothing short of outrageous. This is not a story about Trump and Epstein. It's a story about Epstein, but they want it to be about Trump. And I'm just, honestly, it is crazy. When you put out photos and digitally alter and react to faces, you know what you're doing, and it's not right.
And even after all this came out, MSNBC still seems convinced nobody's paying attention. They are still airing the doctored photo, still teasing more images, and still pretending facts are optional.
Well, first, the images that have been released is a small segment of what was received. And, staff are still going through the 95,000 images received to make sure that we don't release anything that inadvertently identifies a victim or survivor. So there will be more photos released from the batch that's been received.
Spinning fiction, it's apparently a full-time job now over at MSNBC. I mean, they thought they could rewrite reality. And once again, the truth shows up to ruin their narrative. Facts don't care about their ratings, and neither does the American people's attention span. Everybody needs to turn them off. We will all be smarter for it. Up next, the White House drops major evidence in a bombshell claim about Ilhan Omar. Plus, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he puts New York on notice after massive fraud is uncovered. And Kristi Noem, she lights up Democrats in a way she only can on Capitol Hill. Go ahead, click on that video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there.
So that was a pretty good one. No, she doesn't normally go long like that. Okay. I don't want to play that one.
are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack. 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria, and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. Syrian government fought by our side. The new president fought by our side. But I just want to pay my respects to the families. We also had 3 injured, but 2 of them are already out of the hospital, and one's going to be okay. But we lost 3, so it was a rough day. But to Australia and the Prime Minister, to everybody that we know so well, we get along with so well, we have a great relationship. That's a terrible situation going on over there. Think of that. And Brown University, great school, great, really one of the greatest schools anywhere in the world. Things can happen. So to the 9 injured, get well fast. And to the families of those 2 that are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America. Thank you very much. It's a very important thing to say. And we mean it. I can tell you in Syria, there will be a lot of damage done to the people that did it. They got the individual person, but there'll be big damage done. And the other, supposedly, they call him a person of interest, so I'll keep it along those lines so we don't get ourselves in any trouble. But they have a person of interest at Brown. And in Australia, you probably read it's been a very, very brave person, actually, who went and attacked frontally one of the shooters and saved a lot of lives. So very brave person who's right now in the hospital, pretty seriously wounded. So great respect to that man that did that. But we're here for a different reason. We're here to celebrate Christmas and to celebrate. And I think today we can say loudly, we celebrate Hanukkah, because that was such a horrible attack. That was a purely anti-Semitic attack.
Okay. You guys remember this one? 3 minutes.
Courts, including the Supreme Court, for over 2 years now that can change our country overnight. It's been on the back channels for years, but some new buzz has been going around. The case is known as Brunson versus Alma S. Adams et al. And has the potential to significantly reshape the world landscape by addressing concerns about constitutional adherence and accountability. The case focuses on whether lawmakers can be held responsible for actions that may have violated their oaths to protect the Constitution by refusing to pause the certification of the 2020 election at the urging of over 154 members of Congress. More simply put,
treason,
it's
right
kind of
there.
like the Supreme Court deciding that our politicians have been criminally negligent for not doing their jobs. Moreover, Brunson is attempting to hold Supreme Court justices liable if they don't do their job by upholding the Constitution. It's really ingenious, and the Supreme Court could be between a rock and a hard place. 3 brothers, Rayland, Loy, and Darren Brunson, are amazing. Like pit bulls on a slab of meat, they don't come up for air, filing case after case in multiple jurisdictions that media won't tell you about. There are 2 main cases and related cases that we are going to look at in this video.
Whoever said the Brunson case is dead,
22,
get a clue.
380 is
It's not.
known as Brunson versus Alma S. Adams.
This is going to remove
and
all
sues
388 Congress members.
federal officers in their official capacities. I should make the point here that all of these cases are being submitted pro se, which means that the brothers are exercising their rights as U.S. citizens to represent themselves in the court system, right up to the Supreme Court. This seems ridiculous to many, But the Brunson brothers have an excellent understanding of the law and procedures and still enjoy the lenience of a pro se litigant. They amended the case many times, which shows that at least some judges were willing to be helpful. The Brunsons made numerous amendments doing the dance required to succeed in a system that has become so complex that it's impossible to beat the system these days as pro se. But the system may have met its match in the Brunson brothers. The second is case number 23-1073 and is known as Brunson versus Sonia Sotomayor and as well Justice Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of the Brunsons, it could set a powerful precedent, reinforcing the importance of upholding constitutional duties for politicians and judges.
And attorneys.
Such a ruling could immediately restore faith in the system, bringing clarity to questions of governmental responsibility and ensuring that.
Clapper. So that was a loud or small sound, but I heard it. Okay, I believe this one is a new one, you guys. Okay, on one of the older ladies. Shoot. Ah. Come on. I won't be able to play that one, darn it.
Like this is no big deal. He's, by the way, running. He's supposed to be running for governor, right? So he's in the middle of an election. He should be talking about this enough. We can't find any sound from him. The guy went into hiding over the weekend, apparently, because he knows things are looking really, really bad. The New York Times, obviously being the first to really come out with this, they really haven't done enough reporting, if you ask me, on this sense. But I'll just say this. I don't know how he gets elected governor of Minnesota again, because if you live in Minnesota, you should be pretty angry with what has gone down. And you know what? According to one state representative in Minnesota, she's saying the whistleblowers went to Timmy's team and they were told to knock it off.
3 minutes, you guys.
So in other words, the allegation here is that Timmy and his chief of staff just chose to look the other way. Why? Because apparently the Somalian community is that important to Minnesota. Watch.
Are saying that the governor knew, and the governor and lieutenant governor, and even Chris Schmitter, who was his chief of staff, came to them as staff and scolded them for pointing out fraud.
Oh boy. So that's a pretty big development. You've got whistleblowers that say, we told Timmy, we told his team, and nothing happened. And then at some point it gets referred up to the feds because nobody can do a damn thing in the state of Minnesota there to challenge any of this. Timmy says, not my fault, not my fault. Tampon Timmy, AKA.
Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But he says they have paused these programs. They've brought in outside auditors to get an idea of how far-reaching this fraud was. They're taking steps to keep it from happening again. And he's defending his management of the state while also taking shots at Republicans and the president.
Oh, yeah. Because why not take a shot at the Republicans and the president? Somehow this is all the Republicans' fault. I mean, at least $1 billion, possibly $8 billion goes missing, and it's somehow Donald Trump's fault. You get how this works, right? You get how this works. I mean, sorry, you guys have no excuse on this one. And Timmy's delusional to sit there and say stuff like this.
And in spite of the headwinds we're up against, Minnesota ranks economically, economic growth, happiness, number of people insured, education levels, near the very top. So I'll tell you what, I have no interest.
Trisha, I found it on YouTube. We can play that one lady. The one that Mike always sends. Wait.
Escalation with Russia. They want you to look at the missiles. They want you to think that this is about territory or democracy. Well, it's not. They're not afraid of Russia. They're afraid of a PDF file released quietly in Washington last week, which signals the silent assassination of their entire financial model. The weapon that is terrifying London isn't a hypersonic missile. It's this. Now, it sounds boring. It looks bureaucratic. But inside these pages is the end of the City of London's mandate to loot the American economy. Don't let the name fool you. This is the economic equivalent of a declaration of war on the financier elite. It declares that from now on, people and economic growth come first, not financial parasites. And it comes right on the heels of the administration's national security strategy, which declares that sovereign nations come first, not globalist institutions. These were released within a week of each other, and these two documents reassert that American principles will now govern us, not imperial principles. I'm Susan Kokinda. This has been a battle that I've been part of since the 1970s, but I've seen how the British start wars and create narratives to keep you in the dark. It's time for all of this to come into the light, and that's what we're going to do today. But before I get to that, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel and help us extend our reach. So here's what we're going to cover today. How London's panic is out in the open, and the Russians know it. What Trump's new economic strategy is, people, not bankers, first. And that phase one of that strategy is the war against the cartels. So Trump's current pressure campaign on Ukraine is forcing Europe, and in particular the British, right out in the open. So open that they're telling their people to prepare for war. Over the past week, Trump has been brutally honest with Zelensky. You're losing, you need to hold elections, and oh, by the way, you're completely corrupt. The Wall Street Journal reported that the Trump team is telling Zelensky, either you negotiate on territory or you get no security guarantees. Now, this also reflects the reality of Trump's new national security strategy that I covered last week. Trump is no longer operating under the transatlantic alliance playbook. As one dispirited European diplomat blurted out at a DC Christmas party, the Western alliance is over. The relationship will never be the same again. So the split is out in the open, and Trump is pushing.
Okay, guys, I'll come back to this one. This is breaking news that just happened an hour ago.
show that Dan Bongino will be leaving the FBI.
9 minutes, guys.
Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Yeah, I do.
Dan did a great job. I think that he wants to go back to his show, said President Trump before departing to Andrews Air Force Base and then going to a dignified transfer in Delaware. This was President Trump saying something that wasn't public as of yet because there was just some wild speculation that Dan Bongino was wanting to quit his job at the FBI because, well, he wanted to go back to his show, and then also that he missed his wife and that he wanted to spend more time in Florida. Bongino candidly admitted that the demands of the role were straining the relationship between him and his wife, who lives in Florida with their 2 daughters. The pair have been married since the year 2000, so they're going on 25 years of marriage. And then President Trump confirmed that Bongino was quitting the FBI. Trump on Bongino leaving the FBI. I think he wants to go back to his show. President Trump confirming this. Dan Bongino minutes later posting on his official FBI account, "I will be leaving my position in the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with a purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all who defend her." Some wildly positive sentiment here. Can't wait to see you behind the microphone again, brother. America needs you behind the mic. Bongino, Rumble armies are ready. We need you there. Interesting. Congratulations. Get back to normal life with normal people. You served well. Thank you for your families and your service. I'm convinced this video is the reason that Dan Bongino is leaving the FBI. I would too. Yeah, this is the FBI searching for clues. Gosh. Searching for clues in Providence. There's obviously been quite a few controversies, everything from the Epstein controversy where Dan Bongino threatened to quit, effectively said he was going to leave the agency because of how mismanaged it all was. Dan Bongino with the pipe bomber and finding the pipe bomber. There's been a huge crackdown in crime, obviously great crime statistics. The statistics on drug smugglers and the border and stuff, but Dan Bongino will probably be known for the pipe bomber, Charlie Kirk, and his reaction to the Epstein debacle. I think those are the 3 big ones in this time period. There's been obviously plenty of crime wrapped up. There's been, a lot of ups and downs. But I would say, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good is Tyler Robinson, being caught or turning himself in, but the FBI obviously playing a role in that on the ground within literally hours after Charlie's murder, and a lot of good police work. I think that we're going to see a lot of that play out in the trial, but everything from the DNA evidence to the weapon to everything. I mean, I'm sure I'll get roasted for this, but watch it play out in the trial. I've been speaking with people who have direct knowledge of the evidence that they have in this trial, and it's demonstrable. The people who are legal experts are saying that it's the most open and shut case that they've ever seen. So say what you will. But when Tyler Robinson is hopefully executed, this will be seen as a win and a victory. So that is the good. The bad is, I think, the pipe bomber, because there is such a lack of explanation as to what the hell was going on there. Everyone is incredibly confused. None of it makes any sense. And so it's, frustrating, I think, to people. And the ugly, obviously, is Epstein and the way that Epstein was handled. So there it is. Bongino makes it official, leaving in January. Again, the reports are that Dan Bongino missed, obviously, his show. He had a hit show, very lucrative profession, and is, and has been missed in the broadcasting space. Anybody blaming Dan Bongino and Kash Patel for Attorney General Pam Bondi's prosecutorial decision is stupid. The FBI doesn't choose who to charge and how. They investigate and hand it off to the lawyers. It's embarrassing how few people understand this. So the Bongino's defenders are out there, and I consider myself one of them. I mean, I try to give you a clear-eyed perspective on what I think the legacy of Bongino will be here. It's an honor to work with Dan, says Ben Williamson. He's a patriot who gave up a great deal to step in and serve. We'll have more to share later, but plenty of work to be done between now and his return to the airwaves, says FBI spokesperson Ben Williamson. Serve your country well, Dan Bongino. Looking forward to this again. Cutesy time is over. So, yeah, I mean, Dan is going to have a massive return to his show. There's no doubt about it. I think the people are going to rightly want to hear what happened inside of the FBI. It's something that has obviously created an enormous amount of controversy and speculation. What was it like going from a podcaster who criticized the deep state to the beating heart of the deep state? What can be done and what can't be done. Some people are dooming and saying this just proves that nothing in the deep state can ever be reformed. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, will be very, very interested to hear what happens next, to hear what Dan has to say about his tenure inside of this organization, which, again, I had very high hopes. And sometimes, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I don't know. How would you grade Dan Bongino at the FBI? As I have said time and time again, there are some things that can't be fixed by mere mortals. There are some things that are so rotten and some things that are so broken that you just can't fix them. Dan Bongino sort of had that look in his eye during this interview.
Everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment, but I stare at these four walls all day in DC, by myself, divorced from my wife, not divorced, but I mean, separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, we love each other and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI, you're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
A lot of change. Yeah. You could hear it there in Dan's voice that it was really wearing on him, right? So he's a family man. Glad that he's back with his family. And obviously, glad that he's back broadcasting. I think that people have really missed Dan Bongino's voice. I always loved his show, and look forward to being back with you, Dan. He gave up a lot, by the way, to serve here. I think that's how I'll conclude. I'll just say Dan Bongino was making a lot of money. He had an incredibly lucrative show. He went and took this job that is utterly thankless. He picked up a ton of haters along the way, and did what I think is admirable and honorable work. And Dan Bongino stood his ground and did what was noble and gave up that incredible life to go serve his country and do the best that he could. Can some of these evil organizations be reformed? I don't know. Are they beyond reform? I'm not sure. It's going to be the first question I ask him. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, Dan.
It's okay. That's good news, though. He wants to go back to his show to be on the safe side. What do you think? I'm glad he's going back to his show with his family. I hope I didn't lose. I might have lost that other video. I'm going to play these two short ones.
Trump, and she immediately pulled the race card and played dumb about all the money that was spent on her lover boy, Nathan Wade. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, the case against Trump fell apart when it was exposed that she spent $700,000 in taxpayer money to a man that she was shacking up with. And then he used that money to go on expensive luxury vacations and just was living it up. It completely tainted the case. It all fell apart. The appeals court shut it down, and it's done. It's dead, all because Fani Willis just couldn't keep her legs closed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, she fought congressional subpoenas for months because she knew she couldn't face the music, and she did not want to be confronted about this, as it's obviously a very embarrassing thing to be confronted over. When you were supposed to be the Democrats' lady, you were supposed to be the hero. You were supposed to take down the orange man for all the TDS patients, and you blew it. So she knows she's guilty. She knows what she did. That's why she fought so hard not to appear and not have to answer for what the receipts show from her office. Now, I got the clip of the day. Like I said, this is pure entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. You can see in her demeanor and the way she responds that she is just absolutely losing her composure. And the way that she raises her voice and the way she gets so hostile, it's a very clear sign that she knows the jig is up. And so this is a total clown show. I'm showing you guys this purely for your entertainment. This is the humiliation ritual, which we all needed. It's good for the soul. So take a look, ladies and gentlemen, and watch her squirm.
Allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week. And then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He told them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to.
Sorry about that one, you guys. I played that one already. Have a minute.
In the family, she was thinking something different. But this is going to involve her son, where she lied about her son, and her father, where she lied about her father. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the Happy Patriots are. I hope you guys are having a great day. Great Christmas season. Join us in celebrating the coming of the King. And first, we're going to do a little fraud on her part. This is a suspicious trajectory. All I want for Christmas is to increase my net worth by 40,000%, like Ilhan Omar did. Maybe she hit a few jackpots on the online slots. No, she was just a normal Democrat congressman grifter. Ilhan Omar's net worth in 2020, 65,000. 2021, 65,000. She didn't increase her place at all. 2022, 115,000. Oh, she doubled it. 2023, 205,000. And 2024, she jumped up to $30 million in net worth. Guys, how does that happen? I'll let you tell me in the chat below. Here's Ilhan Omar. She lied about ICE targeting her son. So what they did was they went back into the records of the ICE officers and asked them, is there any record of Ilhan Omar's son being arrested, interacted with? They found none.
Hello, Congresswoman Omar. DHS says they have no record of ICE pulling over your son. Why did you lie about ICE targeting your son?
No answer. Is she wearing a lionfish wrapped around her head there? They're just specifically saying, look, they went through the records. Why did you lie? Why would she say that ICE officers are after her son? Do you know why? She wants a bunch of radical Muslims to attack them violently. This is how they trigger it, guys, in this kind of rhetoric.
One more time. Why did you lie about ICE targeting your son, Congresswoman?
No. Why?
Do you think it's responsible to lie about ICE targeting an individual in this time when domestic and Islamic terrorists are targeting ICE officials?
Well, that's the whole point. While terrorists are targeting ICE, that's why she's spreading the lie that they went after her son to try and motivate a radical lunatic somewhere.
Can I comment?
No comment. Real brave when it's national cameras on her. Here's, this is the New York Post on the same subject. ICE rejects rep Ilhan Omar claim that son was pulled over by feds. They're like, nope, that's a lie. Why would she say it? Because Democrats believe this garbage all the time. Pulled over by feds, pressed for citizenship proof, which is false. Absolute zero record. That just came out today at the Post. So lie. Why is she, and she's hiding, using her son. Head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, rejected a viral claim from Rep. Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, that her son was pressed for proof of U.S. citizenship. He was told he needed to present his proof of citizenship to this country by agency personnel after stopping at a Minnesota Target over the weekend. Omar told CBS Twin Cities affiliate that her son was subjected to a traffic stop type encounter by ICE agents. How many of you, on New Year's Eve, the cops will stop you even if you have no suspicion that you're drunk. They have these police lines we have to go through, and they take a look at you, make sure that you're not slobbering drunk. That's the kind of thing that they were running at this Target place looking for illegals. Not targeting him specifically. He was ultimately let go without further issue after he was able to produce a U.S. passport or passport card. Oh, okay. So just like me, if I present a passport, I get to go. Okay. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons pushed back on the assertion on Tuesday, telling Fox News Digital the incident never happened. ICE has absolutely zero record of its officials or agents pulling over Congresswoman Omar's son, Lyons said, though she would probably marry him if it meant securing his legal status. Okay, wait, there's more. Here's her ties. This is the actual monetary ties to the Somali fraud to Ilhan Omar, Waltz, Keith Ellison.
Ilhan Omar, Tim Waltz, Attorney General Keith Ellison. We see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing the 2020 Meals Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud. Held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant. That's where one of the men who run that restaurant has associations to the convicted individuals. And then there's Tim Waltz, House Oversight Investigation role in his role as governor, or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. The Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring.
All of it, but the one with the most ties is Ilhan Omar, has the most ties to fraud, even than Waltz. Here's Megyn Kelly. This is getting good.
Okay, let me just read the following. And they're citing this Matt Tardio on X. Ilhan Omar claims that she obtained her citizenship when her father was naturalized in 2000, just months before her 18th birthday. But there's a problem. No record has been found of his naturalization paperwork. In response to a FOIA request for her father's N-400 paperwork filed by A.J. Kern in June of 2023, the National Records Center was unable to locate any filings under his name.
FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act. They looked for the filings, and even her dad is probably not legal.
Question, can she be denaturalized and deported if this is substantiated? Answer, yes. If fraud was involved in her father's alleged naturalization, then her citizenship could be on the chopping block because that would be immigration fraud by the dad that would affect her. And that would be a political earthquake, Dave Smith, that if she's not a U.S. citizen, she can't be a U.S. House member and she could be deported. I mean, I just want to give you that.
That's comedian Dave Smith above her, by the way. He just now tweeted today that he despises Trump's second administration. He said it's embarrassing, the second run. Well, let's go to Congressman Brandon Gill, because, the problem is not, I think we need to go easy on all of these Somalis. Is it right to impugn their character when really, here's Brandon Gill grilling this Democrat who says the real problem is, the real problem is white Christians.
Do you believe that white Christians are a problem?
No.
You've written that. I've got an interview here, the transcript from an interview you gave in November of last year with the Interfaith Alliance, where you wrote, quote, or you stated, quote, white Christians have been more a part of the problem than a solution. That was in relation to your views on Christian nationalism. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I'm including myself, right? I am a white Christian.
I'm a white Christian. Imagine that. White Christians are the problem. She goes, I'm a white Christian. That's a self-loathing person. White Christians. What about brown Muslims? If we're going to bring in a skin color white or brown and a religion, Christians or Muslims, Somali Muslims. Are white Christians a bigger problem? I'm including myself. I'm a white Christian.
And I'm saying that white Christians...
That's because of views on Christian nationalism, is that right?
Yeah, so...
Okay. Did you know that 34% of Black Americans support, quote unquote, Christian nationalism?
Holy smokes. Blacks, 34% support Christian nationalism. One of my favorite quotes is from Vodi Bakum, the late black pastor. He said, of course, Christian nationalism. By what other standard will you establish religion in the U.S.? Instead of Christian nationalism, do you want a Muslim nationalism? Take your pick, because there's no such thing as a neutral nationalism. Some ideology, an atheocracy will step in, or a theocracy. I prefer a Christian one. That's all. That's the only one I believe in advocating for. But here, Brandon Gill, 34% of blacks are for Christian nationalism, but only 30% of whites are for it. So by her own standard, is the bigger problem, if Christian nationalism is the problem, Brandon Gill just completely smokes her here. Is it not black Christians, not white Christians, if your problem is Christian nationalism? And I welcome all my black Christian nationalist brothers, my people. You ain't heavy. You're my brother, my people.
And that number is 30% for white Americans.
I think that Christian nationalism is an ideology that every racial group, every religious group embraces or rejects to different extents.
Do you think the black Christians are also a problem?
So I said no. I said when you asked me if white Christians,
I have the transcript here. You stated in this interview that white Christians are a problem. I'm asking you if you have the same view about black Christians.
So I think white Christians have done more than other groups to perpetuate white Christian nationalism.
He got her. He got her. So you just hate white Christians. First she goes, no, it's just that they're Christian nationalists. He goes, what about black Christian nationalists? Well, okay, it's not Christian nationalists. It's just whites.
And I include myself in that category.
Yeah.
Black Christians support Christian nationalism at higher rates than white Christians, per the statistics that I just read.
So Christian nationalism is an ideology that all different groups can reject. And I think that's one social service.
I got it. No. What my understanding is that the categorical condemnation only applies to white Christians and not to black Christians. That seems to be your testimony.
Got her. Oh, Brendan Gill, I got her. He got her. I love it. I'll tell you, I think she really hates nationalism because there's so many black Christian nationalists. That's why that's why a white woman like her, a white Christian like her, she doesn't really hate Christian nationalists. She hates the blacks. What a psycho. This is insane. This is why you don't look at ethnicity. You don't look at your skin color. You don't look at, it's so dumb. By the way, same thing if you're going like, white Christians are a problem. White Jews are another problem. If you're going, there, I solved it. It's white Jews. You're sounding exactly like a Democrat. These Democrat, racist, bigots. You know, Jews are the only whites you're allowed to hate in America and get away with it. We're done with that. Right, gang? We are done with that. Ilhan Omar, we have a problem with Muslims, not just brown Muslims, white Muslims is the problem. I'm Doug, in exile.
Okay, we got 2 in so far. Let's see where I'm at.
To face criminal charges. Just moments ago, the Department of Justice announced a Virginia grand jury indicted James Comey on 2 charges for obstruction and for making a false statement to Congress. Here's the moment when Comey got caught.
Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it.
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak.
I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
No one's above the law, and lying to Congress is a crime. And now he's facing up to 5 years in prison. Comey should have known this would have caught up to him. He knew Hillary planted the Russia hoax, and he used the hoax to spy on the Trump campaign. He used undercover agents and doctored evidence. After Trump won, Comey tried to take him down from the inside, but got caught. He's accused of authorizing his dirty number 2, Andy McCabe, to leak to the press. That's what he lied to Congress about. And this obstructed the congressional investigation and tore our country to pieces. Now, after he got fired, he confessed to leaking documents to a reporter to trigger a special counsel in order to impeach Trump.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
And to whom did you show copies?
I asked, President tweeted on Friday after I got fired that I better hope there's not tapes. I woke up in the middle of the night on Monday night, because it didn't dawn on me originally, that there might be corroboration for our conversation. There might be a tape. And my judgment was I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel. And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
Comey was sniffed out staging a coup and framing the president as a traitor, a Russian operative, then leaking and lying to Congress about his operations. These are actual crimes. Remember, they had to make up crimes to charge Trump. 34 felony counts, charges for a crime that have never been brought before in the history of our country. This isn't revenge, it's accountability. Biden gave Merrick Garland the green light to indict Trump, and they indicted dozens of high-ranking Republican officials and hundreds of Republican activists. They put a lot of people in prison. They censured us. They debanked us. They spied on parents. So this is nothing. So far, the Trump DOJ has indicted 2 Republicans, John Bolton and James Comey. And why would we believe Comey's side of the story? He lied about Russia for years. Now, he's innocent until proven guilty, and he's going to have to make his case in court. But we just hope he didn't spend all of his book advance money, because he's going to have to spend a lot on lawyers. Fox News alert, James Comey just became the first FBI director to face criminal charges just moments ago. The department.
Okay. I just got this one here. Six minutes on this.
Differences leads to animosity and war, while focusing on commonalities leads to knowledge and wisdom. One of the most common themes found within all traditions across the world is the idea that human beings are born with an internal divinity, which has the potential for transmutation into a higher life form.
I don't think about that one, you guys. Sorry about that one. They keep saying this, right? You guys can see that, right? How many years have they been saying that? Okay, we might. Let's play this one.
Public way his support of and desire to continue to push the Second Amendment's right to keep and bear arms, including with allowing people to carry guns all across this great country, including, but not limited to, Washington, D.C. You're not going to want to miss this powerful clip by President Trump when we come back. Hey, folks, I'm Mark Smith, host of the Four Box and Diner, proud American gun owner, constitutional attorney, member of the United States Supreme Court Bar, and I'm proud to say the top voice of the Second Amendment in America. Thank you, 2025 Gundy's Awards. All right, folks, so a huge statement, which we're going to play for you in just a second, by President Donald J. Trump, talking about the importance of carrying guns for self-defense by law-abiding Americans and the importance of the Second Amendment's right to keep and bear arms. Very powerful statement. It reaffirms what I've always known, and most of you have known out there as well. Although I know there's some naysayers out there that have to have their rolls slowed sometimes, whether for clicks or other reasons, when it comes to attacking Donald Trump. But that is not appropriate when it comes to our Second Amendment rights, because he is the most pro-Second Amendment president we have literally ever had in this great country. That's just the reality of it. So the supposed issue is that Donald Trump is deploying the ATF and other people onto the streets of Washington, D.C., which is, generally speaking, as I've explained before, and you know, is really a cesspool built on top of a swamp. But the good news is Donald Trump is given the authority for the local police departments and federal law enforcement to go out there on the streets and to clean up the bad areas, take the graffiti off the walls, get rid of the homelessness encampments, get rid of all this nonsense and crap that's on the streets of D.C. that makes our nation's capital look foolish. Clean all of that up, which I totally support. But there's been some concern among some members, I would say the distinct minority, but some members in the Second Amendment community are raising concerns about Trump using law enforcement to clean up D.C. and somehow this is anti-gun. And part of that, I think, stems from some language that the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, has occasionally used, where she talks about crime statistics since of this D.C. takeover, where she points out the number of people that have been arrested, the fact that there hasn't been a murder in 8 days since this began, and then she uses the phrase illegal guns. Now, we at the Four Boxes Diner and in the Second Amendment community, we understand that illegal guns is a term that's fraught with sort of negative meaning in the Second Amendment space, and I generally agree with that. But the harsh reality, or the reality, is this, folks. So
that was only 3 minutes. So, since we're going to be watching the speech, I'm going to play a Cash video, get some excitement going. It's 24 minutes, so that will put us close to it. We'll get everything all set up. We'll find the channel. I wonder if Benny Johnson's going to be here. Which channel should we watch the speech on?
Are they throwing the food? They're throwing the food into the parking lot. This is crazy. This is insane. Chips, soda. This is crazy. Look at this poor place.
Get out, please. Nah, bro, I'm not just.
They're just handing this stuff out.
Nah, yo, bro, don't go, bro. What are you doing, bro? It's not worth it.
What's he gonna say?
Get out.
It's worth it because they don't.
Oh.
I'll pay $1,000 to.
This is crazy. The store's done. The poor cashier's beside himself.
So sorry. Please forgive me.
But before we look at some even wilder smash and grabs that reveal the sad state of many an American city and might have you questioning whether you should shop in person at any of these places, you know that annoying safety glass that stops the law-abiding from buying things? Well, obviously, people stealing don't care too much about that. Look at these folks. Look, they're just going right through the glass. Let's listen to all those glass bottles hitting each other.
Drop it. There they are. They're coming right around the corner. Here they come.
This guy's messing with him, says the cops are coming. But sometimes people don't want to steal. They just want to destroy a business like this poor McDonald's. Look, the manager just hid behind the counter. Oh, this is mayhem. This is so crazy. I feel so bad for these folks. This is why you need to have bulletproof glass. If there's no police around, you need to secure these places. Look, they're going behind the counter. They're kicking at the donuts or whatever that was in there. It's gone now. Are they even stealing? This is just destruction from what appear to be people who do not think there are consequences. Oh, they're trying to get into the registers. Is that the register? Hopefully there's a GPS on that and they find these people. Lock them up, throw away the key. This is just terrible. Oh. Are they going to try to break into it outside? Oh, this is what happens in a no consequences environment. But this thief thinks she's too smart for the security guard. Look, he knows. Shopping without paying.
Here you go. Puppy. Let me
What's up, buddy? Chicago Bulls. What's up, bro?
Give me a soda, please. Yeah, come on, man. Come on, son.
Oh.
Where are you? Let me get the Sprite. What? The Sprite?
Look at this woman.
Get me off the camera.
Get me off the camera.
Get me off the camera. All right,
Then
sure.
stop stealing. Oh.
All right.
Put her in jail. Wow, look at the size of that thing. She can drink all that by herself.
Hello, how are you? Can I get the Starbucks back?
There you go. Just put it back.
Miss, come on, man.
These businesses
That is free, yeah.
And they say that this
That's
is a
$4.
victimless
Yeah.
crime. This business is going to close. It gets robbed so
Excuse me.
much.
Hi, how are you? Can I get the candies back? What? Can I get the candies back? You're back.
Yeah. Oh, I like those. The yogurt pretzels. Those are good, but you know what? I only like them if I pay
All right,
for them.
thanks.
But it's not just 7-Eleven where things are getting wild. Look at this. We got customers battling at Whole Foods. This is crazy. Wow. Right in the donut section, too.
All right, Chris. Have a
And
good night.
Go figure. No one. Why is this though? You know, I don't know if I blame the security guard. He probably doesn't get paid enough to interact with these aggressive customers. This is crazy. Look at this. It's destroying the store. What do people think? In 2025, this isn't going to get filmed. You're not going to be internet famous. But what's truly awful is what this football team tried to get away with in Florida.
I want to compliment the Cocoa Tigers. They won the championship
These are the
after
criminals
finishing
from
the
the other
season
football team.
15-0. It was the Atlantic Coast
Crazy
Youth
story.
Athletics Association.
Watch
Now
this.
I want to introduce you to 8 of the thoroughbreds. And here they are.
These are the,
you look at the thoroughbreds.
Terrible.
And you find out what were they doing? What were they doing on Saturday morning?
Stealing.
Well, let me tell you what they were doing. They Ubered from where they were staying. They had come from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to the Dick's Sporting Good in Posner Park. Not only did they
Bad
Uber down
idea.
there to shop, they had no intentions of paying for their product. So they came into the store in 2 groups, and they began to systematically steal product. And that's
Terrible.
exactly what they did. They stole, and they
Look at
stole,
them all on camera.
and they stole, and they stole, and
Look at
they
all the
stole.
stuff they took.
Yeah. How do you like that?
That's crazy.
This is everything that they stole.
Yeah.
And
They
guess
thought
what?
they were going to get away with it.
As we've said before, you can't go any place, anytime that you're not on a camera. So Dick's Sporting
That's right.
Goods knows that they're stealing because they're watching this systematic, organized theft ring called a football team. Now, not only did they steal
Crazy.
47 items, not only did they steal
Thought they were
47
going to get away with
items,
it.
but
Look, there they go,
ostensibly,
walking out.
they may have cost their team the championship and the football
Because
game
they were in jail.
because
Is that what happened?
I don't know if these all were starters or not, but I can tell you that we were
They were
finishers.
playing.
We arrested them.
Wow.
We took them to the juvenile assessment center. And we put
Can you imagine if they had laws and policies like that where this 7-Eleven is?
Let me get that.
What are you talking about?
No, check it
Stop
out.
stealing.
What are you talking about?
Check it out, man. Yeah, give me the sandwich.
Yup, it's in the backpack.
The sandwich.
What's it?
Don't do it again.
Don't do it again, man. Cut the beard. Right here.
Thought you were going to get away with it. This is so wrong, man. Oh. Oh, look, they're cheering at him.
Yeah!
Let's take it out.
Send that no! No, before I take that ugly oh, I want that.
Sorry.
Oh, you can't fit it.
Oh, he was stealing. He was stealing.
Just soda in your pocket.
Yup. Stand in front of the register. Try to steal right in front of
Soda in
them.
your pocket, bro. Come on, check it out.
Think they're stupid.
It doesn't matter who came up with
Wow.
this design. I'd bet 99%
This is
of people
something.
have never seen anything like it. When you're doing outdoor sports and winter,
Thank you.
It's not victimless. These businesses are going to shut down if they don't get in the faces of the people that are committing all this crime, which is dangerous. Just look at what happens here at Burlington. Oh, these customers are attacking customer service. This is crazy. Language, people, please. Look at these horrible folks.
If I could get at least 20 people, I'll stay on. I don't know how many wants me to stay on, so it starts at 9.
Over what? Oh, no, don't throw it. Okay, thank you. He stopped her from throwing it. Don't throw stuff in the store. No. Terrible. Oh. This is crazy. Oh. Customer service. Oh, this is Kohl's. It wasn't Burlington. It was Kohl's. Customer service. They got a tough job, man. This is crazy. The whole store is trashed. But it gets even worse when you got these theft mobs that think they can escape CVS. Look, she's got a box fan.
Or, put that down.
Oh, the door's locked. They can't get out. They're trapped.
You have activated our window.
Oh.
Touch me. You don't have the right to touch me.
You don't have, yeah.
Call him.
Touch me though.
Is she going to call the police?
Go ahead, call him.
She's going to call the police on herself without realizing it.
Whoa.
Put that down.
And the sad thing is, the person working there, doing the right thing, not living a life of crime, they're the one that loses their job when that store closes. But there's also a big problem with people robbing the post office. Look, they stole the mail. These guys just stole mail and packages, and now they're getting into a car that doesn't even have a license plate. Look at that.
It's that time of year when holiday cheer and gift
Sadly,
cards
it
often
is.
arrive in our mailboxes. Or do they? If you're wondering if someone wasn't as giving this year,
This is terrible.
here in Suffolk County, it may actually be this postal clerk who allegedly behaved like quite the Grinch.
Wow.
Shopping at TJ Maxx right after opening our mail on the job here at the Oakdale Post Office and allegedly stealing items of value from it. Items like gift
She went
cards, and
shopping with the gift
scratch-offs, even
cards.
foreign cash. But she didn't know investigators were watching.
We are paying attention.
Terrible.
And if you are going to engage in this conduct, we're going to notice it.
The 35-year-old clerk, Giovanni Jameson
This
Lewis of Mastic
wild.
Beach, now facing felony charges
Yeah.
for grand larceny and criminal possession of her allegedly stolen property.
Right.
It also cost her her job here at the post
Oh,
office.
and she's getting
where she
paid
had
by the
worked for
government.
this past year, until a tip from the U.S. Postal Service Inspector General that a clerk had used a stolen gift card here at TJ Maxx in her postal uniform.
Wow.
We began that
In uniform.
investigation with the view of, was this a one-off or is this indicative given where she
13 minutes,
works?
guys.
And while the value wasn't staggering, at least not so far, they did uncover dozens of
This once again, I got to see how many people stay in chat to watch the speech. So I hope I can get 20.
occasions in which envelopes were opened and the value inside went to Jameson Lewis.
Ooh.
Definitely naughty, say postal
She
customers.
stole
here in
people's
Oakdale.
birthday money.
I mean, that's not fair. People work hard for their money and they're giving a gift to somebody.
Right.
And then they take it. That's not fair.
Well,
I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that someone who works at the post office would do that is just so disgusting.
you know that she got the idea to do it probably because she saw other people doing it and getting away with it. She's just the one that got caught.
And Zach, they were after a very specific kind of
Pokemon.
That was too long. If something breaks through tonight, you guys, if anything develops, I'll come back on. If we get any big news, we'll just do it like that. It's 2.5 hours already. So we'll see what we'll see what happens this coming Friday, the 19th on Friday, and the Epstein file is supposed to be out. Everything. So thanks, Kay, for helping. And our day is going by fast. Can't believe it's already 8:30 already. Yep, thanks, Paul. Yep, and we'll see you all tomorrow, 4:35. Unless we get breaking news, because these next couple of days we don't know what's going on. So everybody just stand by when I come on. So bless everybody. Please hit the like and make sure you guys go over to the description box and sub to the backup channels. What Michelle put in there. And stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, never give up. So, yeah, I'm just getting tired. Hey, Sheila. Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. If I'll come on if something breaks, something really good happens, I'll be on. Yep. You too, JJ. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Signing off, Chico and Dude.